And now the raw talent is fighting back as Australia, worn from these extended fights, seems to have forgotten their teamwork, and Canada is coming out ahead. We move on to Junkertown, the newest escort map, until, of course, Blizzard World comes out, our newest map here in Overwatch. And a map that hasn't seen a huge amount of pro play. And is pretty different in the fact that this first area of the map is so wide open. And we have some great sightlines that players may abuse in order to take this first point. Now Canada coming out on top of Hanamura. See if they can keep that momentum going as we move on in this series. Canada here pushing very far forward. Not typically something you see in Overwatch. It's typically there's a choke point or something to hide behind for the defense. But not Junkertown. Canada is pushed up all the way to spawn. And it's really just to bait out some time. Waste some of the attackers' time in order to start off these battles. Gates are open, and now we start. Atar gets the first kill onto Rolf. However, he is rezzed up almost immediately. And RQT, as well as IHU up, is pushed back into spawn by agilities. However, Joe Meister has been taken down, and RQT is still up and fighting. Members of Australia are starting to push out of spawn and get onto this cart, while the members of Canada are just kind of lying in wait. Rolf tries to get Goomba there with a very sneaky hook, but the members of Australia are there to protect their support. And now the payload has started to move forward. Atar here is looking for a kill and has earned that pulse bomb. So as they move forward, they will have that single ultimate ready to go for this next fight. On the opposite side, we see that Canada is nowhere close to an ultimate. And so, they will have to defend against this in order to move forward. IHU up is looking for a kill. However, it's Atar with that pulse bomb who takes Joe Meister down. And now without their mercy, that means no res has come up as XQC is also taken down. Canada is facing a 4v6 battle here in this fight. Mangachu now demeched. They're at a massive disadvantage. They may need to just back out, take this loss, and try to move forward. Australia has 4 of their ultimates ready to go. Their supports are taken down. However, Shore 4 hasn't done enough to keep this payload off the point. And now they've gotten point number A, point number 1, and are starting to move into the streets phase here of Junkertown. And really, that wasn't so much as Australia's win as it was Canada's failure. They got Joe Meister picked off at the start and then just kept on extending that fight. Surefour was in the back for a long time. Sure, he took out the supports of Australia, but that whole time he was in the back, the payload was moving forward. And now we see that Canada has moved XQC over to that Orisa, something they did at King's Row, which didn't work at all. First kills are out. Rolf takes out Atar, followed by Surefour taking out RQT, and now the members of Australia are falling left and right. Trill tries to grab agilities, but is unsuccessful in doing so. Very low, gets killed in the end, and now the payload has stopped moving as Australia is cleaned up by the members of Canada, who have managed to gain this foothold here in the streets phase. And now we'll continue to move forward. Rolf has a Transcendence ready to go, as well as a Valkyrie by Joe Meister. This is what Australia is facing down. And on their side, the only ultimates they have is a Pulse Bomb and a Transcendence. IHU up, of course, does have the Visor ready to go, but that isn't so much of a big play ult as what they need in order to push forward. Surefour is taken down to start off this fight, followed by Rolf and XQC. Surefour is res, but he's eventually taken down again by Atar. Canada is starting to fall. We have some pretty even trades here, but Canada has a massive disadvantage with their spawn. Now the payload is moving forward once again. Canada, pretty unsuccessful defense going on here. They did win out that one fight, but everything before and after, it's been total wipe for them. They're rolling back onto the point to stop this payload from moving. Agilities takes out Trill, who is rezzed off by RQT. But in the meantime, ATAR is taken down. And now Australia is facing a 6v5 situation. As Aichup is pushed very far forward, takes out Agilities along with the help of Goomba. But trades are coming out. We saw that Kiki was there all alone on the point, and Canada was able just to collapse around them. And now the members of Australia are falling left and right. They, one by one, they pushed up, never together. And the teammates of Canada were able just to collapse around them, focus down the members of Australia, and take those fights away. And now, with 1 minute and 45 seconds left, Australia is going to have to make some big plays in order to get this point. Trill has a Primal Rage ready to go, as well as RQT with that Valkyrie. They can use that to their advantage, die when they want to, and use those reses. They can win these fight. Trill, however, is chasing down Agilities, and a self-destruct is brought out by Megachu, who takes out Goomba. RQT is going to have to use one of those reses in order to get him up. However, as he does so, his tanks manage to chase down the members of Canada, take them out, and move on to the point. Very successful dive coming out from Australia in that fight. They did an excellent job of creating that space, splitting up the members of Canada, and moving forward towards their goal. Now Canada has 2 minutes and 30 seconds about to defend this last point. Agilities here, looking for a kill, takes down ATAR to start this off, and RQT has to jump in very deep in order to get him back up. However, Canada does not capitalize on that, and instead are looking to start off this fight. Agilities gets that Dragon Blade out, gets 3 members of Australia down, and that's going to stop this fight from continuing as they demet Kiki at the very end, stall out those spawns, and now we finally see Canada holding and making those plays we know that they can make. Agilities gets in the back line there, takes out RQT, took out I Eat You Up, and finally finished off with ATAR, and that's the kills they need in order to defend this last point. And now 1 minute 30 left. ATAR is going to pop a Dragon Blade of his own, goes in with that Transcendence. However, Transcendence also used by Canada in order to stay alive. But Kiki managed to find that self-destruct in there. And a team kill comes out from Australia as they move forward onto this last point. Trill taking out 2 with a Primal Rage and 2 with the self-destruct by Kiki, followed by 2 with ATAR. We know who did their work in that last fight. That was enough to push this forward. And we're very close here to the end of Junkertown. Trill gets in the back line looking for the supports of Canada. Hasn't found anybody yet as he has to back out. However, Surefour backs out with him and is taken down by that Tesla cannon. Joe Meister has to jump in order to take him out, but dies for it. Now without the mercy, Canada is going to have to do a lot of work to keep this on. And now the members of Australia are just collapsing around them. However, they managed to hold. XQC using a Primal Rage in order to keep that space and push the members of Australia off the point. And now, Australia has only a few seconds left. Agility takes out an RQT. And I Eat You Up very early in this fight, way in the back. And the members of Australia managed to start the overtime clock, but they're very spread out. And nobody's on the point now. That's going to be it for their attack onto Junkertown. Practically getting into the end there. Agilities with a very clutch play in the last moment stopped that team fight from ever really happening as he took down 2 members of Australia. That was the team fight. That single Dragon Blade was the team fight. As getting those kills down, especially onto RQT, meant that no reses are coming out from Australia. And now they're moving forward. Canada looking very steady now. They had a rocky start in this series, losing control to a very sloppy play, losing King's Row to the supports of Australia. But now they have found their foothold and are starting to push back. Australia is going to have a great defense in order to win this next round. As we move forward onto Canada's attack, onto Junkertown. And that was a real great example there, that last fight, of how important it is to find the Mercy and take down the Mercy. The fight before that, however, was an even better example of finding a pick early in a place that the Mercy really doesn't want to be, as Joe Meister was killed by Atar after trying to res up his team. And that let Australia win that fight and push the cart around the corner with a team kill they had to clean up. Atar starting off that fight. And now, as we move on to Canada's attack, we're going to see a different strategy here from Australia. Is that instead of pushing up all the way into the spawn, they are running with a triple tank setup. However, they will be facing down Surefour on this Bastion, and unfortunately their pushed back defense let Surefour get onto this cart with this Bastion, and now El Presidente is doing his job. Atar is taken down first, and now Surefour has Kiki in his sights. Kiki is just demeched, and now RQT runs in to try to get the res, but is taken down by Agilities, who cleans him up. And the pirate ship here is now moving forward. Surefour already has the configuration tank ready to go, and in this next fight, with Australia not having any of their own ultimates ready, it's going to be hard for them to defend against this, as we see a double shield comp up here and running to keep Surefour as that Bastion alive. And the key here is to take out Surefour, burn down those shields or dive onto him. But here comes out the configuration tank, takes down Atar the start, Demex Kiki, takes out Aichu up, and now the members of Canada are just cleaning up as XQC swings away with that Reinhardt hammer, and they move forward onto the streets phase of Junkertown with 5 minutes still left in the clock. Some would call this a cheese comp, but I call it winning. As we move on to the streets phase, Canada will have a Valkyrie ready to go, while Australia is looking at only having a Transcendence in this next fight. That will keep the team healthy, as Surefour rains bullets down on top of them. But we'll see if it's enough to keep them alive. Kind of a mess of green and white happening on our screen now, but Trill takes down Joe Meister. That's going to be hard for Canada, as Surefour is also taken down. However, XQC is cleaning up with a massive Earth Shatter, and Rolf getting those clicks onto the heads of Australia. The card is going to push forward even more, and even though they got Surefour down and Joe Meister down at the start of that fight, they forgot about the Earth Shatter, and that was what won it for Canada. Let's see, the replay is going to happen right here as Gunba is taken out, followed by RQT, and Rolf cleans up the rest of Australia. And that's what you get for having a stacked team like this. A team that is so good at each of their positions. Even if you manage to take Surefour down, you're still facing XQC. You're still facing Rolf, who are there to do the damage. Atar takes down Surefour with the Dragon Blade, followed up by Kiki taking down Joe Meister. No more reses are coming out from Canada, as Surefour was resed up twice there. RQT manages to get Aichu up back. And now Australia has cleaned up. They found their footing. They have cracked the code of Canada's pirate ship. And now we see Surefour has moved off of that Bastion. If Bastion isn't set up, it's so hard for him to get onto the point and start doing his job. So Surefour has moved over to that Tracer. Let's see if Australia now can use this change in pace to their advantage. IHU up starts with a pulse bomb, doesn't get anybody, as Surefour is looking for kills in the back line of Australia. He's putting his damage down, but he's not solidifying any of those kills. And now, chasing down Goomba in the back, Kiki gets XQC. However, Mangachu finds RQT in the back, and even though they pop a Transcendence, their mercy is down, as Goomba eventually falls. But so too do the supports of Canada, who are forced to back out and regroup and try one more time. They still have 2 minutes here. However, Surefour and Mangachu were taken out very low in the fight, and Agilities has come into here very late. And now XQC all alone is facing down 4 members of Australia, a mistake some would call. And I call it that too. As XQC is taken down, he refused to group up with his team. And now some time is wasted because of that mistake. Just now spawning, he's coming in, as the rest of Canada has already grouped up and waiting for him. Canada will have 4 ultimates ready for this fight, and a pulse bomb by Surefour finds RQT. No res is coming out. They need to capitalize on this, as a pulse bomb is used by IHU up, but a Transcendence is on the payload, followed by a self-destruct. Agilities uses that Dragon Blade. We're seeing these ults come out, but we're not seeing a lot of kills in the kill feed, as Australia has managed to run away from all of these ultimates and clean up the members of Canada, who are now facing elimination here if they can't, in the next minute and 30 seconds, take this point and move on to win on Junkertown. And we see Canada use so many of their ultimates there, but to no avail, as none of them really went through to take out the members of Australia, who now have 4 of their 6 ultimates. And if IHU up can do a good amount of damage, he will have his pulse bomb. He does eventually get it, however, he is killed by Mangachu. So, Australia, with that Dragon Blade, finds Joe Meister in the back. That's a great start to start this battle off well. And now, the members of Canada are falling once again. RQT reses up Atar after that Dragon Blade. But he's taken down once again by Surefour's Pulse Bomb. And XQC is starting to clean up here. If they can finish out this fight, which they do with a great Swift Strike by Agilities at the end there, they will earn point B, as they do right now, and move forward for the rest of this map. Thanks. We move on to this last point here. Surefour has gotten into the back line. He's looking for RQT, but hasn't found anything yet, as the dive comes in from Australia. Trill takes out Joe Meister now, followed by Rolf. And now Canada is going to be forced to back out. Agilities pops the Dragon Blade, but decides to just die in the end, as he waits for Australia to take him out. Not a great start here for Canada. The successful dive from Australia onto the point. They need to push forward in order to win. So Canada here now with 2 of their ultimates is going to do their best. XQC tries to find the supports. Goomba is taken down, followed by RQT. And now we're moving forward. Joe Meister reses up Mangachu. And with that, Canada is going to be cleaning up the members of Australia. IHU up is the last to fall, as Kiki just kind of wastes time here so that his team can get back on the point. However, his team doesn't come, and Canada is starting to move forward. Australia is moving on to the point, but I think they're waiting for Kiki to get back up in order to finish out this fight. There is 30 seconds left. Australia really just needs to win one fight handily, and they will take this and move on to our semifinals. However, and Kiki is starting off great, taking out a mech and Agilities. However, his team is falling as Atar and Goomba are taken down. 2 members of Australia are rezzed up. That's both reses used now. And Canada is on the point, pushing off the members of Australia and moving forward. They have what it takes now here. And Australia is going to have to come in the final seconds in order to move them off the point. Trill comes in early is killed almost immediately. Kiki comes on the point, followed by a Transcendence by Gunba. Keep his team alive. A self-destruct, however, is used by Mangachu and finds RQT, who switched over to Lucio to keep his team taxied and onto the point. They're coming in one by one, but it's not enough as Canada moves forward and takes Junkertown away from Australia. We are going to 5 maps here. And Canada versus Australia, and we'll see if Canada can now use the teamwork that they have found to move forward onto our semifinal match. They do.